shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. I prayed for you and kept you near in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out? Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. Oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill.
Never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. So right. I'm just going with the gut. Never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella love. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging, we going come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right, it feels
Motherboard.
a diamond from gold. Maybe you are something I cannot define. Maybe you are the fallen kind. I leave them with violence, the silent side of me. We see where fire starts to breathe. When I would lay in silence, the voice inside of me made me use my mind right.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder, go crazy, berserker.
Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Show them. Change the station with a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new shit. With a new shit.
Look so weak, I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. And underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're silent for the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're silent for the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. 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 I'm safe and
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
myself my name. Forgot about all you tried to change. Familiar was the sound of your voice as I continue to walk on by. It has been a year and now I'm living on the line. It has been a year and now I'm thinking what's mine, that I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you. That I'm better off right here without you.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out.
Take the wrong and you make it right. Like a firefly, you're glowing at night. So don't make it hard, don't let me go. I wanna hold you tight when you're cold. I'm waiting for your love, you just keep me hanging on. I deserve to stay.
The fire makes the city look so bright. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve. Stay with me.
so fast, all tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I don't thought this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. You're stronger.
Vici Gaming's turn to ban.
Vici actually did it yesterday against Secret. They first phase banned Brood.
Yes.
The game. A hero that Secret hasn't been playing that much lately. But sometimes you first phase ban a hero so you don't have to worry about it later. Then you have that extra ban for something else. But so far in this ban phase, that has not been the case. This is just flat out first phase bans that both teams are just prioritizing over everything else.
Yep. And with this Omni ban, because Omni hasn't looked good the last like 2-3 days, but yeah, I agree, it makes sense, because how EG loses is they kind of just get run over by this death ball of Vici, which they did in the first 2 games, and that's probably the best hero at it.
Yang's scary on this hero as well, and yeah, like you said, it can change your concept of what you want to play, right? Like you pick a lineup that wants to be able to disable people or something like that, and Heavenly Grace messes up everything, or GA is super powerful, and he's a strong laner. I think that's one of the biggest things too. You put him in a matchup, and Yang, if he's able to, he can actually just bully your carry if you are up against it.
So now it's IO time.
Ooh, because I was about to say, like, if EG doesn't ban, that means they have to pick it, because you're definitely not giving him IO Gyro.
And there's the Doom.
This hero is the one hero from the beginning of the tournament that everyone thought was super strong and has made it all the way to the end that's still super strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what else really has kind of been able to stand the test of the entire tournament?
Pretty much just IO. Was Disruptor even part of like the day one though, like of group stage? It was up a little bit, but I think that was the first thing. And then the Disruptor Naga game happened. Everyone's like, oh my god, that hero's broken. Aghanims is
broken. And then a mid Disruptor comes out and they're like, all right, if this is working, it's first phase ban.
So Vici are going to grab Lich. Don't want to give away Lich Doom. Very powerful combination.
I like Lich a lot too, because I feel like we talked a lot about TA, and I think this is one hero that actually messes with TA's overall entire game. Because if you do want to make any aggressive plays, this hero just counteracts it entirely. This Frost Shield is so good versus TA's high burst damage, and now they pick a hero that's similar to Omni Knight, but it's a way to. We've seen a lot of teams pick it in order to kind of counter the Doom. If someone else gets doomed, you're able to heal them up, and
you can do stuff alone as ABBA, which is kind of why I like it more than Omni. Like you can just go push a tower by yourself. If you're an Omni, you're not really pushing a tower by yourself ever.
Yeah, and you're at lower risk too. It generally takes more heroes to kill Abaddon than Omni because of how long it takes usually. Like you need to run him down for the extra duration of the ult.
I do want to highlight though how kind of interesting this is, because when we were at the minor, like it was Abaddon, Omni, and like even like LC and stuff like that, like leaking in. And then when we got to the major, all of a sudden, we started seeing it a lot less. But here, you expect it just based off the playstyle of Vici. You like that Omni, that early Omni ban, and now you like the Abaddon. So maybe this will enable their playstyle. There's the OD.
Yeah. I think OD does way better in this matchup than TA would if they want to pick Abed's hero now. TA struggles, like Fog said, against Frost Shield, but I also think attack speed slows are really effective against TA. And there's both the Abaddon and Lich with some really annoying slows that you need to play around in fights. Abaddon, you can't really, he's not one of the heroes you can just jump and burst as TA either. So OD, however, Abaddon is one of those nice heroes you can just build up on. You banish people, you buy time, get longer fights, and suddenly
save on a core.
The hammer can even kill Abaddon. That's one of the abilities in the game that deals so much burst damage that you can overpower the ulti activation.
You are showing Abed's hero early, though. They can still rotate it to Arteezy, but I don't think that's very likely that they will.
I think what you should do as EG now, you should probably consider banning Puck. Ori has looked great on that hero this tournament. In a way, maybe a bit surprising it didn't get picked in this first phase over the Abaddon, perhaps. But I think Puck is a pretty good hero against Doom. Keep him in place. You're hard to catch with the Doom spell. You have a good matchup against OD in the lane.
I love Silence versus OD.
Silence is good against OD. I think it's pretty solid overall. But there might be other priorities here. Drow being banned out first for EG. So it will be Vici with the next pick.
So when you do first phase like this OD after you've already picked a Doom, does it like shift anything for the Doom, or is he still wide open for like a 4 or 3? I don't know, because I guess we've seen teams pick their 1 and 2 cores even in the first phase. So
I don't really think in Dota right now. I don't really think it matters what role Doom plays. What matters is he finds an Ice Ogre. If he finds an Ice Ogre, he can be 5 with no items. Yeah, he has huge impact. So
it really, I mean, it's true. We may be memeing, but it's true. You find an Ice Ogre, have fun the next 10 minutes on the other team.
Like Rich said before, the memes generally have, some sort of root in reality. I'm not joking. It's pretty stupidly strong.
I've been studying them quite
probably on the short list for something that a lot of pro players want nerfed next match.
There's no way.
It's got to be one of the highest priorities.
Just make it a level 5. Then make that Ice Ogre level 5 now for some reason, so he can't eat it at level 1. Just some type of change, or just change it overall.
There are tons of ways you could rebalance it. Like one way would be duration. The problem with it is it lasts 45 seconds, costs 40 mana.
40 mana is
and it has like 8-second cooldown, I think. So you can have it on like multiple heroes, and it's crazy spell overall.
Timberban, probably smart after what ran. I think they pretty much told him go stand in the middle. He was unkillable, right? We saw in the Vici secret game, even though Vici lost his secret, they could not kill that freaking Timbersaw. This hero, once you get items, you get a craggy coat, a couple neutral items, you're legitimately unkillable.
Yeah. One of the heroes that teams like picking against Timber is the Slark. But I don't think you want to play Slark into Doom OD. So you don't really have that counter pick option for Vici. So better safe than sorry, just get rid of it. Not many other carries right now really like this Timber matchup than a farmed Slark. Traditionally, you've seen something like Ursa. I think he's terrible against OD.
Terrible hero in general.
Yeah, not great. But it's also not that awful. I think he could have seen a little more play.
Is this like your liking thing again?
No, I actually like Ursa. I don't think Ursa's that bad either.
No, that's not great. I'm looking at a potential Monkey King, perhaps. I don't know if Vici have really played it much. I think Monkey King is one of the heroes that Secret had a lot of success with, also playing into Doom. He's good against Doom in lane, whether it's a 3 or 4. You're just really strong. You have the surprise factor of fighting from the trees, and Doom wants to run in and take a fight in a specific area where he feels strong. He can't fight into the ring. It actually overpowers you and forces you out even during Scorched Earth. So that could be a bit problematic.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whenever you go against Doom, you think of who's a core that doesn't mind getting doomed. So what else is there? Well, what's good versus OD then, do you think?
Well, you guys mentioned a lot about the Rubik. I think Rubik's looking pretty hot for Vici.
Yeah, he's good. Rubik's definitely good. Still think the Puck could be fine. Monkey King I'm a little bit less certain about just because of the players, not specifically the strategy. I think Paparazzi doesn't really play this hero, I want to say. Not much. He hasn't had success with it nearly as much as with other heroes. Or he does, but you don't want to play Monkey into OD. I don't think... That matchup used to be different, but I I don't know in the lane how exactly that would go down with the Astral now.
I feel like Razor looks good for Vici. It's a hero that doesn't like getting doomed, and Paparazzi is like one of our Eurus was one of the first guys who just like played the position 1 Razor, and you're like, wait, this hero can go into the late game. We don't have like this timing window.
It's definitely a possibility.
Burning a lot of time.
In the past, there's a yellow band actually.
Okay, so that would be the UIW.
That's one hero we didn't really talk about that EG has been loving, but they phased it out a little bit yesterday against Alliance, gave it way less priority. Early on in the tournament, they were like overall first pick.
That's one of those heroes, that was like super big at first phase, and now not so much.
I think I like that a bit more than the Rubik too, because I think you can be a lot more aggressive. I think if you pick this Rubik for Vici, you can't be as like dominant inside the laning phase. Now I think if they do set up for that puck, like we're mentioning, then they can really pressure Abed, and I think that's what we mentioned a lot of times. The way you handle EG, from what we've seen, is don't let Abed have these free games. So I really do like this tiny pickup because they can just address that Abed issue.
It has me a bit concerned if they go puck now, though, because then they have like nothing against BKB. Their last hero has to do a lot of work.
All the damage, all the piercing.
Yeah.
Hey, okay.
AA against
Instant Arc Warden. Oof.
Ooh, okay, so that's the one they were setting up for.
AA against almost no heals. And Abaddon?
I guess to prevent people, if they get doomed, they're doomed. You can't actually turn to heal them up with Abaddon to counteract it at all.
Aquatic Shield is still a decent mitigation.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Then Naga, all right. Naga versus Arc Warden. Might be seeing some tier 6 items here. No, why that Arc Warden? That was like an instant pick Arc Warden too. I mean, obviously versus Dumo DA, none of these heroes can really get on top of it unless it's Doom. We've seen what that phase drum or the phase drum blink build. I don't know.
It was like one of those things too, where you actually look over into Vici's booth. They looked like they were like having a holiday. They looked really happy the second that they saw them come in. I mean, you guys had a few seconds to think about it. Now that we actually have seen the AA for a little bit, what do you think they're even trying to set up for here, Sin?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
And that's got me a bit concerned.
Team fight, I guess. I don't know. You got Naga sleeping in OD. I don't know. Are you just trying to wombo combo? That's such a weird thing to draft for, though.
I feel like this just limited their catch completely. Now they're like, they have no real great catch on the side of EG. I mean, it's okay, but it's not your... There's like no disables really coming from their lineup versus an Arc Warden who has a backup of 2 defensive heroes, a Lich and a Abaddon to protect him.
How do you feel about the Naga Siren, though?
It's an Arteezy specialty.
And it does play quicker than the Arc Warden. Like, you get your Diffusal Manta, you can. I mean, if you have a great lane phase, you could just run over the game with it. And that's how EG plays, right? These timing-based pushes and hope they win the lanes.
The thing that Arc Warden doesn't like is when heroes come up close and fight him in the magnetic field. And Naga, with all the illusions, can just run in, overwhelm you. Flux doesn't work because you have illusions next to you all the time. Spark Wraiths, you can tank with random illusions and not really take damage on your main hero. The matchup against Lich kind of goes both ways, because if you have a bad timing with the Chain Frost, it can be a problem, but at the same time, if you have 4 illusions, maybe the Chain Frost kind of gets mitigated in the entire fight. So I honestly think the Naga Siren pick is pretty good.
I like
it's the A that has me puzzled here.
Same. I just don't see
why.
Yeah. I feel like it just limits them when they don't have like a Naga song, like a song combo or anything like that.
There's no synergy with song right now. Not really. I mean, Ice Blast, you can consider a combo. I don't know. It's a bit iffy. Should mention, though, by the way, about Arc Warden. This was something that Vici learned the hard way yesterday. Arc Warden is really good against Doom. The Doom that Vici were playing, he was running in, he was dooming Nisha, and Nisha was like, whatever, dude, I got my ulti.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fight. As long as you have it, yeah. You got 2 Dooms, bro? And then, no, I don't. So, he just takes the fight regardless. And with the Abaddon protection, I don't think it's hard to kill Arc Warden. I like EG's thinking here with the Clockwork, because they need some way of getting on top of him in addition to Naga, I think, so that you can really force him out of the fight. However, it makes Hurricane Pike a really good item this game.
Real good, yeah.
It looks amazing. It's good against Doom, Clock, Naga.
Oh, and he, RO2K popped off when he picked that. He popped off. He's ready.
I was going to mention the limited disable on EG. What if they pick an elusive carry at the end there? And the Ember Spirit works really well versus that Naga Siren. It combos well. It's aggressive is what we were asking for from Vici as well. I'm liking what Vici's got right now. This AA pick has me very, very puzzled.
EG has to show they can win, and I think Vici's draft is a little bit better, so, yeah.
ROTK almost looked like he smiled for a second. It was terrifying. That is not something you want to see. We talked about the draft quite a bit, but I'm excited to just get into this game. We got this best of 3. Whoever wins goes to the grand final. It's coming up very soon.
Germany, and welcome to your final day of the Dream League Season 13 Major. We've got ourselves Evil Geniuses versus VG Gaming. What a way to start the day. This is going to be a fun series, Lizard, for sure.
It looks like a fun draft from both of these teams. We have an Arc Warden on one side, Naga on the other. Maybe not considered the most fun heroes to watch, but definitely the game can go 70 plus minutes if they play their cards right.
Yeah, we may be seeing some tier 5 items. Of course, both of these teams are going to try and switch things up a little bit, not just in the draft, but I think, Lizard, you were saying maybe in the lanes as well.
Yeah, exactly, because there are different matchups here. You have Arc Warden and Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit later on is really good versus Naga. However, in the laning stage, you want to put that Naga versus Arc Warden somehow. As the Flux doesn't do anything, you have illusions to deal with the spark rates, and that's why maybe we will see some switch-ups. You can see them. They're dancing around this mid lane. Both OD and Naga are there.
Meanwhile, OD abuses melee heroes, especially, right? So if you do get the matchup against the Ember, you could see they're just moving back and forth around the map. It looks like Abed wants to go mid, but we'll have to see if the Ember Spirit ends up there. Then Arteezy is perfectly fine in being able to take that matchup as well. They've actually both got shared tangos just in case they do. You can even see the aggressive mid vision on both sides. Nobody's really showing a whole lot of information just yet.
They're just waiting. Both of them want to go mid, but it looks like the OD, he has already bought a lot of region.
Both of these carries are hanging around the mid lane. Both of them are waiting for the other to show. This is certainly already starting out to be a fun mind game between two very experienced teams.
But look at this, Ember shows up, instantly Naga goes back and OD is coming in. But Arc Warden is around too, and he didn't go away, he's coming back.
Yours is gonna leave now. Ori's going to show up. He wants the matchup against the OD. After all, he's a ranged hero against the OD. Plus, you've got the magnetic field.
What a way to start.
Now, are we just going to go back and forth, Lizard?
Well, it looks like Abed is coming back, but mostly because TYW was chasing him through the jungle, and now he has to move back.
We'll see what these supports can do to interfere in this this musical chairs that we're experiencing right now. Yours coming back in once again.
Just to stay 2-on-2. Just play it off like that. Look, they're actually
you let the 4 positions turn into a carry, man.
All right, this is insane.
All right, we're just gonna hang it out. Both teams are waiting for the other to blink. You move. No. You're going to move first.
This is a first. This is a first. I haven't seen this in a while, but it looks like Ori is the one to budge. It looks like he's the first one to leave, but Naga instantly Abed, he's following him.
All right. right, they're finally committing, it looks like. And RTZ is going to get the matchup that he wants out of this. He's going to be mid against a melee hero. He can abuse him with the imprisonment. We're going to have the Naga Siren head up top against the Arc Warden. It does mean our side lanes, our supports got a little jump on the game.
They're the happiest ones right now. As a support or an offlaner in a game such as this one, in which you don't have those supports to zone you out, you're just taking all the experience and gold and you feel great.
I feel like this is a win for EG in two different ways. They got the matchups that they wanted, and I think Clockwork has probably got to be the most influential hero with levels in this game, right? You get him to an early level 3 and he's a killer.
He definitely did benefit a lot. One bad thing for them that happened is that Ember got a lot of last hits. He's 8-3 on that mid lane versus an OD that has 3 last hits altogether. So yeah, that's a small upside for VG.
We'll see whether or not RTZ can bring him back with the imprisonment spamming. As he's got a healthy wave underneath the tower as well. There is also the advantage. Looks like our Doom did very well in CS. That matchup can be a little awkward in a Batten versus a melee hero, but it looks like he walked away the better of it.
Especially when you get level 2 and you get that level 2 Corsair, it's much better top lane,
DY getting caught. If they can get this kill, it would be pretty good for EG. The first blood is still uncontested, but Eurus is here, and he's going to try and finish up Abed. The mirror image going out. Abed wants to be able to try and finish up DY before he dies, but he can't get it. And VG Gaming are the ones to claim first blood.
And you can see Arc Warden instantly. Is he going to move? He actually TPs towards the mid lane. Now the problem is, because he did that, Naga will TP on the mid lane too, and OD will go top.
Beautiful body blocking here. Ramsey's left alone in this bottom lane. Was expecting just a 1v1, but PYW being here might be able to get the kill. The Devour, the 2 levels of Devour is just giving him too much regen. The Euphonic Shield will allow them to be able to dive the tower here. PYW, the Miscoil as well. If he can get out of vision, he'll dodge the Euphonic Shield pop. And now get off the healing salve. He gets that off, turns around, hits PYW once. He'll live, but his lane is kind of screwed now because he lost his regen.
Ember, because he rotates stop, and OD goes stop as well. You have the perfect setup for the cogs, for the clock battery assault with that astral imprisonment. So they do take down the Ember Spirit, but they're still dancing around these lanes. Ember now goes mid, Naga rotates stop, Arc Warden rotates stop. Is this ever gonna stop, Cap?
It seems like it never will. TZ shows up, says hello to Eurus. We'll take the nice creep wave that's pushing in. 2 range creeps for him as well, so bounty of experience awaits him. Back over to Abed, who's been sometimes I feel like a lot of times he's just one creating space in the game, but as a Naga Siren, it's certainly a different kind of game for Abed than the majority we've seen this turn.
I think we see 2 heroes on 2 sides that are going to be creating space. That's going to be OD for EG, definitely, and on the other side it has to be the Ember. It's going to be Eurus. So Naga and the Arc Warden, they're your fallback balls. You wait for them, you wait for that farm later on.
It's funny how even though he's a Naga Siren and you want him to get golden levels, he's still the one who's getting the short end of the stick compared to RTZ, level 3 to level 5 OD.
That doesn't have to be necessarily right. You have to think about timings, and that's what they're thinking about right now. You want to have your playmaker, the one that's going to do the most around the 10 to 15 minute mark. You want to have him have the best start.
That faster Aghanims will add in a lot of team fight.
Exactly, and on the other side you want Eurus, you want that Ember Spirit to get fast level 7 so that he can be the one creating space, rotating across the map and playmaking.
Yeah, certainly before level 6, he's not able to do a whole lot against that OD, so they switch it up once again.
Yeah, we see Ember mid, Arc Warden instantly going back top, but Crit is having a blast. He's level 4 after his kill. This should be easy. There are sticks on DY, but
RTZ makes sure to take the last hit with imprisonment.
That's also level 4 right there for Crit. He's having such a good time. By the way, he started with such great items. He has Tranquils already, and he bought that mid lanes. So even if you're not imprisoned, he will be able to catch you on mid lane. Now they use that.
Oh, the Ember Spirit still doesn't have his level 6. Crit is here, but underneath the creep wave, they actually crotch push him and get him a little bit closer to RTZ. With the Avalanche, they should be enough to finish up our tour. Can Eurus get out? A Fairy Fire is going to be enough. Crit has to back away.
Man, PYW, this guy, when you give him heroes such as Tiny, such as Elder Titan and Doom, he's always in the right position at the right time to help you out. He doesn't need that mobility, and he shines on these beefy boys that you just have to cast one spell or two and tank some tower hits. That's all. He gets a kill right there.
And they know they just needed a little bit of a helping hand to that Ember Spirit, then he'll be able to get his level 6. And not only did he walk away from that engagement, he picked up a regen rune, so he's now going to have both his ultimate and full health, full mana. Now PYW cutting across, Ori showing up in his bottom lane to help get the kill onto Ramses, 3-2 to the paper
to Ori as well. And that's so good for him because he's only level 4. Now you got to kill on a level 6 Doom. Yeah, he shared the experience 3 ways, but still, it's an amazing kill. However, Naga will port back bottom, and they are not allowing Ori to have his game. I think most likely he's the one that suffers from these changes the most, because as an Arc Warden, you want to get that level 6 as soon as possible. Not only does it allow you to get higher kill potential, but you farm faster.
Right.
Also, that level 10 is really important for Arc Warden because of the cooldowns.
Oh, trying to get the Doom out. Oh, jumps away and actually managed to finish off Fly. Now, DY was locked in by the cold feet. Didn't get far enough away, so they will trade out supports here.
So far, in the games that we have watched from EG, Ramses, the CIS boy, he has been that stable rock that if you give him the good laning stage, he will just provide you with so much utility in the mid game. I think it's really important for EG to give him a good game, and so far he's been doing great. Second on network charts.
Yeah, we certainly saw that from his Timbersaw in the series yesterday, and hopefully he will be able to do the same on his Doom. But it's Eurus who's topped the net worth board, and he's ready to move. Ready to shake things up. If they actually get this Invis rune, it would be a nice start, but Crit actually spots it, trying to get off the clogs to push the arrows away, and the Invis is picked up by PYW. Now he's going to be able to toss him back into the Ember Spirit, who already has a Frost Shield on top of him as well. No chance of an imprisonment. VG Gaming have too many heroes here for our tour.
What did I tell you about PYW? Always in the right position at the right time.
He certainly does seem to have a strong knack for it. It seems like one advantage VG Gaming have here is something that links back to what the panel was a little bit puzzled about. They weren't sure about that Ancient Apparition, and right now, with all this lane movement, the two supports on the side of VG Gaming, they can be active, they can help get kills, but an Ancient Apparition, especially pre-level 6, he doesn't really lead a whole lot.
Both of these position 5s are suffering if the lanes are moving a bit too much. Lich wants to be casting Frostblast all the time in the lane, so he doesn't like moving way too much and fly. It's not about the harass, it's about levels. You want to get that level 6 on your Ancient Apparition as soon as possible.
And he was quite sacrificial at the very start. He actually didn't get in that experience range and gave it all the crit just to get those early levels. So he's going to have to find a way to recover, perhaps with the Tome, if Crit can actually just get level 6 on it.
He's farming top, but bottom lane, I think, where's the action? Ori? Should be fine right now, but Ramses, he's rotating around.
Yeah, and they...
Okay, that spark rate, it's so good.
Oh, yeah.
But the illusion, man...
Illusion breaks that spark rate, allowing Ramses to get a little bit closer, but the Tempest Double coming out, reading that movement from EG, prevents EG from being able to commit to that tower dive.
Now, once that Arc Warden pops his replicate, you can't go in. You just can't go on the clone as well, because they will have so many spark rates around that tower, and even if you get on top of the Arc Warden, they will strike back. You have an Ember with an amazing counter-attack potential.
Well, he gets the battery rune, but he won't be able to get the outpost, at least not initially. He still has the battery assault, which will push them back. As it fades, though, who's going to be able to make that play? EG want to be able to grab both of them as they manage to nab the bottom lane first.
Crit actually already has his level 6 on the top lane. He's been given a lot. And because of that, maybe the Ancient Apparition will be given the Tome. If that's the case, they can do so much in the next couple of minutes together.
Yeah, they've got some decent setups for it. They've got Ensnare, Hookshot into Cogs, as well as the Imprisonment, all to be able to lead into an Ice Blast. EG holding a slight lead in net worth, but it's never been more than 1K, and they do have a Doom after all, who's getting just that extra bit of efficiency, so it's not surprising.
It's mostly that. As you can see on the net worth, he's just below DOD. He has spent quite a lot of time just rotating between mid and the bottom lane, trying to create some plays. And I think it's necessary for him. I don't know if it's the greatest plan for EG and the way they played before, but it's necessary for him to be doing that, as OD isn't truly ready yet.
Smoke up into the top lane, Vici Gaming. Look to be able to either find a pick off here and then turn it into a tower, or just a full tower assault, and EG are already on the other side of the map, so both teams will just have to mid here.
They just scouted them, they know where they are exactly. So on the bottom lane, they will take this tower without worrying. Same will happen on top. But now, I'm fairly certain EG knows that they're coming mid, because they saw them put that sentry. They had a ward, and they were smoked as well, so they saw the sentry, they know exactly where Vici Gaming is.
There is the advantage that Vici Gaming has, and Abaddon, a hero that allows you to be able to push towers a bit faster than the enemy. So EG have to be aware of that, have to kind of read those movements, and that's why they have already kind of rotated some heroes.
At the moment, they're very similar, Ramses and Yang, in what they do. You have these drums, you have some passive, you have some push and some utility for your team, and they're literally the frontliners. They're completely mirroring each other's movements, and I think it's understandable because you have very similar drafts.
Yeah.
You have Naga and Dark Warden, very similar. OD and Ember. In what these heroes are supposed to be doing, the strategies collide.
You can see both the Arc Warden and Naga Siren have done similar things in being able to push out a lane, but not have any risk associated. They just have the illusion in the dangerous lane where the enemy is trying to gank. Vici Gaming kind of got stymied there by Naga Siren Illusion. They're going to try and rotate around that mid area, EG not approaching.
There's a first smoke coming from EG. They still understand that that Vici Gaming are in their own woods, and Crit is leading the charge.
It looks like they're going to try and flush him out here. Crit. His smoke is going to break, goes for the hook shot, actually lands on an Invis. Ember doesn't realize it. Sentry's going to be dropped. Eurus is able to get away. The toss up in the air by PYW. They're going to try and close that distance. Willman grab this tiny, but a chain toss going up may turn things around. It's Ramses already dropping dangerously low. Is going to fall. They do manage to get the kill on PYW, but Crit now being slowed down by the Flux. The Spark Wraith in his way is going to be latched onto him, as well as the follow-up. Looks like he's going to be falling here. The imprisonment over to mid. Crit. That last Spark Wraith is going to slow him down a little bit. If they hit him one more time, that doesn't land. Another Spark Wraith is up, but he jukes downwards. Can he somehow get out of this with a TP up? Vici not going to be able to spot him in time. Crit. Smooth moves. Barely managed to get away.
Great play by Crit. On the mid lane, you weren't watching, but Abaddon was trying to go with the Ember on OD. However, Arteezy manages to survive too. Good plays. Very unfortunate for EG and very fortunate for Vici Gaming the way they positioned the Ember. He broke the smoke and he broke the hook shot. So I think all things considered, both of these teams should be satisfied with the way that engagement went.
Yeah. What a world of difference it would have been if they'd gotten that engagement on the high ground. The fact they chased PYW down allowed Ori to be able to get a little bit closer, and it was a pretty easy doom kill for them. PYW is closing in on that Blink Dagger as well. So that'll be another initiating tool for Vici Gaming.
On the side of EG as well, you have to be thinking about gap closing. You have to be thinking about these kind of items. You already have Clock, who's really good at doing that.
Right.
And perhaps you don't have to necessarily itemize on every single hero in that way. Maybe you don't even need a blink on that Doom right away, because you have the song, so you have the setup. Top lane.
Great. He's going to be caught here. Another rotation from Vici Gaming with Smoke. His 15-minute bounty runes are spawning. Figure it's a good opportunity to invade that jungle once again.
All of these skills are really good for them, but the most important thing, what they're doing, is they're invading the dire jungle, which literally gives you more space to farm. Arc Warden, he wants to be farming in the safest possible positions. That's why he's in that triangle and only a little bit around mid lane. But Naga, you need some space for her on the side of EG as well, and that's why they're doing literally the same. They're pushing with Doom and the Arc Warden in the Radiant jungle.
Arteezy's going to get away from that mid lane. Vici Gaming with this siege wagon push. I wonder if they're just going to go for it. And how does EG respond here? Doesn't seem like they're really ready to take a team fight, but at the same time, giving up your mid tower.
I'm not sure they will give it this up. The phone has already been used. Once it disappears, you could perhaps make an action here.
And it's Abaddon that Curse of Avernus does so much with the Siege Wagon and with some teammates too. So that tower, the evil geniuses, they don't want to give it up, but they felt like they just couldn't find an opening into a team fight.
I have a feeling they gave it up way too early. You had the clock there, but Crit, sadly for them, did die on that top lane, and he wasn't really in position just yet for the right angle of that hookshot. And obviously Maelstrom was completed on Ori. A lot of damage was dished out by the Arc Warden too.
Yeah, there is a big difference between our two illusion-based carries in the Arc Warden and the Naga Siren. Naga Siren a lot slower than this Arc Warden, especially with the builds that we've been seeing from these Arc Wardens involving the Wraith Bands into early Mjolnir and Treads.
Yeah, we saw different players do different builds on Arc Warden. We've seen even 4 Wraith Bands. Ori decided to go for only 1 plus the Maelstrom. I think when it comes to neutral items, Abed did get the better end because he does have that Vambrace plus 1 Wraith Band. I think this Naga will come online very soon. After that Manta is completed, he could start fighting already.
What about this OD? Looks like Hurricane Pike is going to be the build for Arteezy, as he needs to find a way to get away from this abandoned Ember Spirit. They're going to be chasing him down.
That's very, very peculiar. We don't see the usual Aghanims build. I wonder what the Arteezy's reasoning behind this is. As you just said, there is definitely gap close on the side of VG Gaming as well. But when you get that Aghanims, you have multiple saves too. So it has its upsides and downsides.
Eurus, the only way they can really kill him here, so they get imprisonment into an instant stun from the cogs, but then you don't really have any follow-up after that.
It was such a difficult kill. They had to make everything pitch perfect.
I mean, even still, that would have been like, at most, 2.5 seconds of stun.
Maybe hookshot into the cogs, moving you away into the AA blast.
Yeah, I guess maybe the OD mana burn as well. That could be something.
As his shield is expiring, maybe, but very difficult.
Just felt like such a long shot from EG. And perhaps they're getting a little bit desperate to try.
They're getting really good items. Now Growbow is also picked up on the Tiny, already given to Ori on his Arc Warden, obviously.
So good.
Yeah, he's getting really good items. And I don't know if this spike is going to be super useful for Arteezy, because you are playing versus an Arc Warden. He will be constantly using that magnetic field in the fights.
Right. You're going to have a hard time landing those orbs. That being said, you know, Avicii Gaming, it definitely feels like they're stronger than EG right now. Their cores eke out around this mid-game timing very nicely. They've got a really good offlaner to be able to lead the charge in towers, but Avicii Gaming still don't have that big of a net worth lead. EG is still finding a way to add efficiency there.
It's the Doom effect, and also you're playing versus Naga, so it's understandable that they aren't really too much ahead, but I love what you just said. They have this Yang playing one of his signature heroes for this tournament. He's always on these saving Abaddons, Omni Knights, tanky beasts that also bring a lot of utility, and he's one of the reasons why they're in control.
Spotted him, gets off the Ice Blast, whatever damage he can. Actually, with that clumsy net, it'll make the Cold Feet land. That's a nice item for him.
Rocket him. Nah, he's fine. There's no way.
He's good. It does serve as an early warning system for Arteezy to get out of there. In the end, tanking the Smoke Ink. Notice that these teams at the top, man, they've gotten really good at their supports, just always positioning to tank Smoke Inks.
It also gives a lot of info to VG Gaming about the decision-making and the strategy idea for this game of EG, because they want to invade that Radiant jungle and make it safe for the Naga, but with that one, that's actually really significant. You did kill an AA, it's not big, but you stopped them from invading and getting vision.
Jeez, look at this damage coming out.
That's the bow. That's the bow with Maelstrom. You can't mess with that. He does have a BKB now, however.
We saw this earlier, a Doom trying to build a BKB into an Arc Warden and just kind of run at him. That did not turn out so well for the Doom, but maybe it'll be better for EG here.
I think he needs the BKB as well right now, as Arc Warden has that Grove Bow, and because of that, you're just much less resistance to magic. Those Spark Rays, the Flux is going to hurt you. It will kill you off if you don't have.
They're all smoked up around here, but Eurus, I'm sure he saw that Devour from Ramses. He ate the siege creep, and so...
And they send Yang instantly on top.
Yeah.
He's the one that cannot die, literally, at the moment. He has a pipe-completed Essence Ring and Vlad's. He's the one defending their towers, and the main reason why they only lost one single tier 1.
See, the mobile hero problem, the panel brought it up. As long as you get through that laning phase, which was a little awkward for Vici Gaming, as soon as you hit that mid-game window,
here we go.
Ramses is nice. Back. PYW into the tier 1 tower. DY's going to be there. There is going to be a hook shot coming out, as well as an Ice Blast. Gets off the Chain Frost. They doom up Ori and instantly take him out. They drop double ultimates because they see this as a huge window to be able to take some map control back. They're going to bring down that tier 1 mid tower.
Ramses picked up that BKB and he literally said, "Come at me." He just stood there and he baited.
And PYW, well, he did just that. He blinked in, got Ramses in close range. They are going to be able to bounce back, and it looks like pick off Fly here as he's left behind. But still, the tower gone, and in the end, you still lost Ori.
You lost 2 heroes. Also, remember when they showed up on the top lane? They were pretending that they will push that tier 1. It's so strategic. You make the Abaddon TP top, and then you make a move on mid. Instantly, there's no rescue. There's no aphotic shield, and you know that you will be able to get those kills. Really good play. At the same time, why did Ori go so deep? Why did he approach them? He's an Arc Warden. He needs to keep distance. He got doomed.
Seems like he just did not expect that big of a blitz by EG. BKB for RTZ as well. Still will not solve that magnetic field problem, but it will help significantly in his survivability in team fights. It's just a lot of magic damage, so as they get these BKBs, EG, I think they may actually have the team fight edge.
Really good by Crit. He scouts the Rosh instantly. He uses his rocket.
But doesn't matter. With no Sanity's Eclipse, no Doom.
They have Song, so there's always a possibility of even just snatching the Rosh if they're not careful. Also, Naga is ready. Vambrace, Manta, and Diffusal. He can join these fights super easily.
Abed might just be able to chase him out of the pit if he throws illusions at them, right? A little bit of mana burn goes a long way in how confident you feel for a team fight. Arteezy's a little bit too far out there, though. And no imprisonment either to be able to buy himself time here. He's just going to be caught and brought down.
He was so far out. He knew that they were doing rush, or trying at least. And if they go out of that pit, of course they will go for you.
They had plenty of vision. They have illusions to throw into the pit. They have the Clockwork Rocket Flare. If you want to farm anywhere, you know, farm a little safer in the neutrals, farm your triangle.
I don't know what he was doing there. That wasn't a great play.
Yeah.
He has a Pikes. He definitely does have some mobility, but the Tiny has a Blink Dagger completed, and Ember Spirit is just Ember Spirit. You won't get away from him. Crit, look at this. Ori.
The big one. They do have the Ice Blast coming in. Lock him down underneath the cogs. Can Crit do enough damage with the Rocket Flare and a little bit extra? No, they're actually going to be able to stop that. The Aphotic Shield, and Ori will survive, turning, killing Crit. He's just got too many stats at this point in the game.
Damn, that was a good attempt. I can't blame him for that. It was really nice. They tried to go on him. Arc Warden is very squishy this early on, but not squishy enough when you have Abaddon on your team too. So they instantly respond and they save him. EG making a couple of mistakes here and there, not really stellar performance after a pretty good solid laning stage.
Well, at least it forced a lot of Vici Gaming heroes back, and Naga Siren immediately taking advantage of that, pushing out the bottom lane, taking over that Radiant jungle. They still have to be worried, though, about Rosh taking. And
you talked recently about Abed and how he's usually the flashy playmaker. In the last couple of series, though, that hasn't been the case. He has been going for these Nagas, TAs even, but he usually gets a lot of space, while Arteezy is the sacrificial lamb. He's the one that doesn't farm as much as he usually do, and he's the one that gets carried in the end.
Nice instant BKB there from Rams, preventing the toss.
Top lane, Fly. That's just an easy pick-off.
Small little kill. Is it enough for Vici Gaming to feel confident about taking Rosh again?
He's that for 20 more seconds. It's difficult to decide to go into the pit instantly.
Repair kit, that kind of fits into EG's idea of this game, right? They just want to be able to draw it out. And until this Naga Siren gets the full 6 slot.
And the Naga Siren is getting there. I honestly believe he could have fought already, but he has the Manta Diffusal moving towards that Butterfly, which will come in handy. The problem is you're playing versus Ember, who has Maelstrom, so...
Jumping on RTZ, the Avalanche also hitting Ramses, preventing him from getting off a Doom. He is going to try and just charge forward on the Ember Spirit. Managed to get off there. The Imprisonment buying RTZ a little bit of time. They're actually going to be able to get away from this one. The Ice Blast closing in. It's going to be a land on the Ember Spirit. The Sandy's good thing. Drop finish off PYW and gets the kill onto Eurus. 3 dead on the side of Vici Gaming. And now it's EG who hold an advantage around that Roshan.
What a great fight for them. And you could see what I was talking about. RTZ was the bait. They went on him. They failed to kill him, failed to shut him off. And then also Abed, he joins because he's completely able to fight right now. Look, he has 2k HP, a lot of armor, diffusal, and they go straight for the pit.
They even had the song if they needed to use it at some point to save RTZ or catch some additional heroes, but it wasn't required.
Also, PYW just moved into OD's ultimate. The hammer just clipped on him as well. He was fine there, but
now
unfortunate.
And Aegis into an instant smoke up. They're going to run a Vici Gaming. They can smell the blood in the water.
I like this. I like this aggressive movement from them. You can play around the Naga, you can invade the jungle. You know that you have Crit always in the right position to catch Ori out.
Oh, and he's going to find him here. The smoke's going to pick. Trying to run him down. Hookshot leading off is going to be able to cox him backwards towards his team. He's going to try and run away to keep himself alive. Ori does have the BKB. Is going to have to turn and fight. Seeing him be killed, maybe fly, getting away. Yang is going to try and help him out. Phonic Shield miscoil's not going to be good enough. EG find another big kill onto Ori. Can they do a little bit more? No, they're actually going to TP away. Feeling like this is not the fight any longer. Eurus, his BKB cannot stop Abed from being able to TP out. A really clean disengage from EG.
Perfect playstyle by EG. The way they position Naga on mid lane to make VG think they're smoking behind her. Instead, they go and find the Arc Warden. They force him to use that BKB. Because of that, Yang can't really be useful. He can't shield him, can't heal him. They pick off the Arc Warden and then disengage, losing only Crit. So far, EG have been on point after that mid-game engagement. They were struggling a little bit here and there, but the strategy is coming together.
Yeah, certainly. Vici Gaming, they may have gotten an early lead on towers and stuff, but they didn't get the strong advantage of winning team fights against EG because EG was mostly playing a little bit of cat and mouse. They were shying away from Vici Gaming until this point where they had their double BKBs.
The biggest difference that I see right now is the difference between RTZ and Eurus. I think RTZ is doing way more with the items that he's got. Mid lane.
Toss backwards onto Ramses. Good setup. He does have his BKB. He's going to turn around, doom up the Ember Spirit, trying to get the hook shot in. And Force Staff is going to be able to save yours for a little bit longer, but Ramses is going to stick on top of him, trying to chase him down. Meanwhile, RTZ laying in his EY, built up a lot of charges. Ramses still going for it. There's a Shrine active as well, so Ramses is going to back away from that high ground. It's a good idea, too, because that would have been a great place for Vici Gaming to turn that fight around.
How many teams are going to fall for the same thing over and over again? You can't go on Ramses. You will not kill that beast. Every single time you see, even in the same spot, Ramses is just chilling. He has his BKB off cooldown in a second or two. He knows he cannot die, and then they turn. Vici Gaming should be really happy that they didn't lose more than only the Lich. The Doomed Ember, with the Glimmer Cape, did manage to get to the Shrine, and meanwhile, all things said, there is an Arc Warden farming for them, so it's fine.
13-11. Evil Geniuses holding that 3K gold lead, and it might mean more, at least my look at this game anyways, that EG has a bit better late game, but you never know with the Arc Warden what he's able to accomplish.
I think it's about the next tower spike for Naga Siren, for Abed. It's going to be the Talisman of Evasion, which will have his Butterfly completed. I think you have to fight before that or somehow
Abed in position here. He does have the Aegis as well as the Song of Siren. They're going to hook shot a little bit lower. They actually managed to get into the backline, but PYW is destroyed right now by RTZ. Ori does manage to bring down this Clockwork, but he already had to pop his BKB, meaning he's susceptible to Abed here. He's going to be ensnared up as the illusions get on top of him. That magnet field is out. Yang, he pops his ultimate here as RTZ trapped by the chains. Vici Gaming is just trying to get out at this point, but they're locked in. And he gets dropped. Ori dropping lower and lower, and it looks like Yang is unable to save his carry once again. Eurus does what he can with his BKB, but all he really can do is successfully retreat. They brought down the Aegis of Abed, sure, but now now. Yang with no ultimate in sight may get caught by Arteezy. Slowed down, orb after orb, building up.
You're in the back.
Coming into the back line, PYW with his buyback and trying to get the kill on the fly of all heroes, but a buy position is going to make a damn bit of difference. Look at Arteezy's hitting like a truck right now on the heroes. Saves himself with the imprisonment, but EG, they start backing away with a buyback coming out from Ori. They're not going to be able to save Arteezy. They just need to get out. Abed retreating, still has the Song of Siren if needed, but are they going to go back in? They are. A buyback from Yang. EG, are you going to commit here? You're going to really try this against an event. They're going to get off the Doom, but instantly there is that event. Fortunately, the Inferno on yours, they get the kill on the Ember Spirit instead.
Doom the Arc Warden, so there's no magnetic field or help from him, and go on the Eurus. Yeah, if you kill Arc Warden, he wouldn't have a buyback, but that's a really solid kill overall by them in the end anyways. But the way Crit and PYW are matching up in these fights is really crazy, because I feel Crit is doing way much more. Even though he died and he didn't really come back into the fight, he still did a lot more because he forced the BKB from Arc Warden. He separated the fight in two. PYW just died instantly. Then he bought back. He rejoined the fight, but by the time he reached Naga and OD, actually OD and Doom, they just BKB'd. And Tiny was just standing by. He couldn't do anything. His spells made no difference in the team fight. I think though Abed, maybe if he used the Siren, if the song was used a little bit earlier, the BKB was used only on the clone, not on the main. Maybe OD would be able, but very unlikely.
See the start of this fight again, how they tried to jump in, Crit, as you said, isolating Ori, forcing him to use his BKB, which then allows Abed to be able to chase him down quite nicely. And Arteezy just had totally free space for almost the entire team fight.
Uses Avalanche toss, but there's nothing to use it on.
Yeah, at some point in time, once those BKBs go down, VG Gaming just have to kite EG as best they can, but it's so hard against some of these heroes.
So if you're VG Gaming, you need to find a different way to deal with Crit. You can't pop your BKBs on that hookshot. If you do, after your BKBs are out, it's free game for EG. There's a Hex almost queued up by the OD here as well in this fight, or you see the BKB is used on the clone, but not on the main one, but it was a lot of damage.
Just turn around the Sleight Fist. Looks like he just wasn't able to get any more remnants out. Or Steve. There's the hook shot. The BKB, it's about to wear thin. He doesn't have any remnants. Yours is just dead, burned out of mana. Selfie, someone saw that. Crit picking up the big kill on Ember.
Skills on cooldown indeed, man. Crit puts you all on cooldown for 70 more seconds with that hookshot. Yeah, Crit is just having a blast. Such a great game by him. I'm enjoying this clock position 4. The way he started, though, it looked like an offlane clock.
Yeah, more and more power spikes coming in. They now have the level 20 on the Naga Siren as well as the OD. And then on top of that, VG Gaming, with their buybacks, their items have been delayed significantly. No Heaven's Halberd for the Abaddon, no MKB.
Shiva's on Ramses, Hex about to be completed very soon on the OD too. Shiva's on Ramses is really good here versus all the damage from the Arc Warden, but most importantly, slowing him down once you get on top of him and those BKBs are gone. You can just run this Arc Warden down, even with the Doom.
Yang did manage to pick up his Heaven's Halberd, so at least they have a smaller answer to the OD and slowing down those orbs, but what they really need to do is find a way to threaten Arteezy and not just let him play that back line and build up those orb stacks for a big Sammy's Eclipse.
Their high ground defense is still really strong.
Yeah.
You are playing with an Arc Warden, so it won't be very easy for EG to breach their high ground. They could play around their illusions of Naga once the heart is completed, but right now they can't really threaten big objectives without killing Arc Warden first. One good thing, however, is the fact that Ori, one good thing for EG that is the fact that Ori doesn't have travels. And because of that, VG will struggle at split pushing. They have to make moves, so they smoke up.
A full 5-man smoke. Where are they going to be headed to here? Looks like up north.
They really want to take this area around Rosh. They have to ward it up and prevent EG from having a free cheese and Aegis.
Oh, big scythe for the OT, and that's something Many of these heroes just will not have an answer to. They can build up as much mana as this OD can.
They should have a no smokes, but with that sight, this is a huge power spike for Arteezy. He will be able to pick off almost any single hero on the side of EG Gaming if they're not careful enough.
Makes it even harder for the Ember Spirit to split push as well.
I love the playstyle from EG though, always putting this Doom up front and just circling around him. Meanwhile, Vici Gaming, they are finding space. They are finding some farm. They also took the top outpost.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
Arkwarden going, remember when we talked about crit and we said that they need to find different ways of dealing with him?
Right.
Arkwarden is going with that pike. It is a decent item on Arkwarden, but it doesn't give you a lot of damage later on versus Naga. That's definitely an issue, but you need some ability.
It's funny how he's going back for that. It could have been an item that helped him out much earlier in the game. PYW going to be spotted by the illusions here. Blinks backward before he could be touched.
They have a gem on Ramses, so they're just utilizing that really well, deboarding the area that Vici Gaming just went in. You can see that they're dominating the game at the moment completely.
Gonna try and approach it. Get the Hex off onto PYW. Gonna be saved by the Aphonic Shield. He backs up the medic. Medic field also helping him. Ramsey's just gonna march forward, seeing if he finds somewhere that real Arc Warden, but he takes a lot of physical damage. He has to actually saved by the imprisonment before he blinks himself away. That Tempest double doing a lot to keep EG back. They do manage to force a buyback. DY and Ember wants to be able to find somebody here. It's gonna be Ramsey's caught by the chains, but
they find region for him.
Oh, that's gonna help quite a bit.
EG Gaming has to be super careful now. They don't know about this. They don't understand that EG is able to go back in.
And that's the real Ori. They're gonna be able to lock it down. Right hook shot. And the Cox is out as well. It got off the BKB, but they're just gonna stay on top of this Arc Warden. And Yang gonna be in prison, so he can't even get me heals over to Ori, or he's just gonna be surrounded by so many. He's gonna try and turn and kill Crit before he buys down, but he's dead. No buyback. Yours is gone as well. Yang's gonna be caught potentially. Noxarn looks to be able to chase him away. DY gets back to the high ground, but with the two carries dead, it's looking real grim for Vici Gaming.
This is high ground push. Now, Ori, he does have enough gold for buyback, and the buyback will be there in 40 seconds.
Okay.
EG is definitely aware of this, so they will continue pushing for at least an extra 40 seconds. However, Ember Spirit, he has no gold. He bought out. He went for the Lincolns, which sadly for him, he didn't put in the inventory.
They kill any more heroes, they might just be able to end it through Throne. They're going to be able to take out Yang. Looks like PYW forced away as well. Shackled up. Arteezy, 25 stacks for the Sandy's Eclipse right now, which he still has in the bank. One lane barracks.
10 more seconds. I think this is one lane, perhaps bottom as well. If Arkwarden dies again, if he buybacks now and dies twice, the game is over though.
They might just have to accept two lanes going down. BYW into the shrine. Oh, barely heals up just in time. It's 2 lanes to barracks for EG. They won't be able to get megas because the tier 2 at top.
Okay, so for Vici Gaming, this is the trade-off. You just had a really bad team fight, but you didn't buy back on the Arc Warden at least. So you're hoping for that late game scenario. You're still hoping for Arc Warden to reach that God mode, but at this stage of the game, I don't see that happening.
Still a problem is with Yang dying, they don't have their 5-man squad up to be able to defend Roshan.
And he's the most important one.
Yeah.
If he's not up front, no one can engage, no one can go in. They take down this Roshan without contest. It's not too difficult for them.
They can get their next round of items coming in as well, like that Aghanim Scepter for the Doom.
Really good regeneration rune though. That would not be possible without the proper rune at the proper time. Naga is so tanky, right? He's so fat. He has Butterfly and the Orb of Destruction that allowed him to take down those two sides much easier. Aghanim's picked up by Doom, so you have break now on Abaddon. You can't take him down even without him popping that ultimate. You have to be careful if you're Yang.
Do they have a Mindbreaker on the side of EG? I've lost track of the
Vici Gaming has it. Mindbreaker is on Ember Spirit.
Oh, okay.
But it's in the backpack. He isn't using it any longer.
So at least there isn't any silences to combo up with that break to just instantly kill Yang.
Yeah, they don't truly have silences, I guess. Doom is there, but...
Tempest double. Thanks to the Mjolnir active, will clear out most of those creeps.
EVGA Gaming, they're in a rough position. Arkworden also switched up from going for that pike. He's moving towards the butterfly instead. They desperately need damage. Ember Spirit, this hero just didn't work out for them so far.
No, it certainly didn't, and it's looking like it may never do that as he's trying to go back for Radiance, but if you look at Abed, he doesn't care about that damage over time. He's got Heart, Butterfly, he had almost 4,000 HP.
He had it queued up as the first item instead of Maelstrom. He was thinking about going that Radiance 10 minutes into the game and decided not to. I think now it's a little bit too late.
The assault begins on the Tier 3 tower. EVGA Gaming, they need some sort of miracle here if they want to be able to hold against EG. An EG that has stomped them in the last 3 fights and is even stronger now thanks to some item upgrades. They've got the Aegis and Cheese as well.
They just take down this clone. Ori, he has to be careful when he feeds that clone, as instantly EG can go in and hit the tower a little bit. There's no magnetic field.
Ice Blast coming in as Ramses makes the initiation. Do manage to get off the BKB. The Arkworden. At the same time, the hookshot catches ZY Yang. He's going to be kind of caught here. Cogs backwards in the borrowed time as well as the imprisonment. So he's going to be stuck outside of his fountain as he's brought back to life. He's quickly going to be killed. PYW calls it here.
Game over.
EVGA Gaming had no chance in that final push from EG.
After getting that one pick off on the Arkworden, after that perfect regeneration rune, they engage. I don't think rune was the most important aspect. They played the game really, really cleanly from the get-go. After making a couple of baits,
out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. 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 You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me move. emotions, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near, in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares too. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you.
to ban. Vici Gaming's turn to ban.
Secret waits in the grand final, but we got to figure out who's going to play him, Vici or EG. EG was able to take the first game. We're already in the draft. We're going to jump right in and take a peek. Last time, I think there were plenty of surprises. The question is, are we going to see them yet again? And we're taking our first look right now at these early bans. Anything jumping off the page to you, Fog?
I mean, they banned OD.
And where's the IO ban?
Yeah, where's
not here yet. And EG, I think you're right. You have to.
Oof. And then Wyvern's also up too, which is another big hero that has been coming up inside of the pool.
We did see the IO gyro lose, like Sin brought up earlier, but are you willing to risk it here?
When I see EG take this amount of time, usually this would be a no-brain ban. I was like, they're not going to ban it. They're planning something. OD is banned out. They don't want to give away the Omni. It's their OD or their Omni counter is this OD that's banned. So they're going to give away the IO, just dare Vici to take it, and then go AA +1.
Or Wyvern. Or Wyvern +1.
Or Wyvern.
That's the other one that we've seen.
One or the other.
Yeah.
And Vici, for the first time this tournament, it seems like they're discussing, should we pick IO? That's also a sign of a team that's a little bit. That's someone called. Okay, they're like, you know what?
I feel like you have
we
to.
can't discuss
You can't give IO gyro on the other side, but it's tough.
Stick to the script.
Yeah, Wyvern or AA. It's one of the two, whichever they want.
100%.
And then there's Tree available too, if they do want to go down that angle, which is also super good.
Yep, there you go. The Wyvern against the IO.
Lately, I actually think I've been liking the Wyvern. I mean, from what I saw, Secret was doing it a bunch, so it just seemed to fit. And okay. Wow. Double down on team fight.
Secret picked both of these heroes yesterday against IO as well, in different order, but Magnus was the third pick of that draft.
Yeah.
Mag is one of the cores that deals pretty well with IO just because of his ability to catch IO and the core in RP, because they have to be together. Yeah, they have to be together. You can play around it as IO if you're super clutch all the time, but if you slip up for just a second, you get RP'd with your carry and the fight is a mess.
Yeah, and I think you can actually combo these heroes properly, because you can curse, a lot of damage is going to come out, then you can just walk up and RP. Even if you overlap a little bit, who cares? You're catching two of the cores in a double BKB piercing disable, which that's another thing is both these heroes do provide you, which is super strong. I love this CG opener.
Yeah, and I think the Magnus, I believe it's going to be Arteezy playing, but Ramses has played it a little bit as well, and they're the only one in the offlane who has really.
Vici taking time again. Should we pick gyro this time?
You do, right?
Yeah. It's
have we seen an IO without a gyro at this tournament? I know we've seen it before, but at this tournament, I don't think we saw.
IO OD, I think.
I believe you're right. There was one game. I don't know, that gyro, you always have your win condition, which is nice.
It also works Wyvern sure is good versus it, but at the same time, gyro, he does a lot of damage to it.
First winner Wyvern and Magnus, I guess it was definitely getting banned that time.
It's always fascinating to see how teams react to losing. For some teams, it's whatever, we messed up, we'll play again, we'll play better, and others can lose faith. Even the time they took to pick IO, and this time the time they're discussing should we pick gyro or not. Yeah. It's a team that you can say good things for both things. One is okay, you adapt. You lost, you think about it, you get better. The other one is okay, is this a sign of weakness? Are we starting to lose faith in our draft just because you had a bad game? It happens. I think their game against Secret, their draft wasn't bad. I think they just didn't play a very good game against Secret in that second game.
It's so funny because the exact thing during that series, I was talking to No-Tail about it, and he was just no, at this point, you're basically going for the mind game, because if you're able to win with it here or beat it here, when you get into the next game, you know that you already beat that pick. And it seems like we're kind of in a situation now where Vici is playing like a team that has taken a beating. So
but they are putting confidence. The one thing is they're putting confidence in PYW is what I see when they pick that, because they lost with IO Rubik versus Magnus Wyvern yesterday. Right. So they're doubling down. They're you know what? It wasn't the heroes that actually lost to us. Even though we have seen IO Rubik, they can be a little weak, whatever, in the laning phase and stuff like that. It still is what you want to play. So at least they're confident to at least just pick that for PYW.
And I feel like if you're going to put that burden on someone's shoulder, it's going to be PYW with how much he's popped off throughout this entirety of the tournament. I know that Ori was one of the other players that you guys said you really need to see have a good game for Vici to potentially take it. As we keep on moving in the draft, we're going to see. Do you think that on the side of Vici too, there's still that focus after what we saw in the last game to try to shut down Abed at all costs? Because I know Fogd and Cinderin were both saying that was something they wanted to put a lot of attention on. Grant, do you think that that's still going to somewhat be the story here?
I think you definitely just don't let him get this amazing last pick here for Abed, right? We even saw in the crowd the Abed Meepo legit has to be in the back of your head every single time when you're playing against EG, and I agree with that. I also, the Night Stalker ban, right? I think Vici's the only team who's even playing it. They played in the one roll on Eurus. They just get rid of it. Obviously versus Winter Wyvern, right? You just got to find him. It's a good hero with IO, I think. Night Stalker, you get super fast on the IO. You can play them together. It is a good replacement for Gyro, yeah. I think the phase where IO gave the free Ags, people were also playing IO Night Stalker, and then as soon as you get that free Ags, it just gets crazy. I believe there was a short amount of time with an overlap with that Night Stalker Aghanims at one point. But yeah, they take it out, no need to worry about it. AA ban, not surprising, it's against the IO. And then they banned the Faceless Void. Again, a little bit of a mark from Secret Series yesterday where they had Void AA or Void Wyvern and Mag. And EG are going to respond with a Slark ban. I feel like this is, one of the other good carries you could have picked with IO. And they're going to grab the Timber Saw.
These supports,
they do nothing to this guy. Literally nothing. Oh, man.
Rubik has good spells. That's one thing. Rubik has very good spells to steal throughout the majority of the game. All of Timber's spells are pretty nice, too.
You got to get some team fight on VG Gaming right now. You need team fight.
Team fight, and they need damage. A lot of it as well.
Luckily, we have all three cores, so yeah.
Yes.
Yesterday, one of the things Vici did against Secret, against this massive AoE teamfight lineup that had somewhat weak lanes, is that they grabbed the Timber. And now it's just been taken away from them. So Vici were maybe planning on maybe getting this second phase, and EG has just one-upped them here. Now you need a solution. You can't really pick Slark because he's banned, so you absolutely can't pick Slark.
Definitely. And OD's banned as well.
OD's banned. Gyro, do you trust in it enough? Do you have the damage? RTK looks a little bit concerned right
I feel like
now.
you have to make the Gyro, but into a Winter Wyvern Magnus Timber is just difficult.
They're in trouble. I'm trying to think about what carries are even left. You could play IO Ursa and just go hard. And when Ursa gets an Aghanims, he's pretty safe against Mag. You get RP'd, you can always ulti it off. You can't ulti off Winter's Curse, but you can mitigate a lot of damage. But
they'll just stick with it.
You know what?
It works. It's just good versus Wyvern. It's magic damage versus Timber Saw, right? Like, it just fits, and it's IO Gyro. But we have seen it fall.
You have to feel like when you see these picks come out like this one at a time that EG know in advance.
Yeah.
Like there's no surprises here, like zero. Whereas for EG Gaming, they're definitely, getting surprised.
Oh wow, we forgot about that here. Yeah, that's still in the pool. Holy smokes.
Oh god, and speaking of not having enough damage to deal Timber Saw, throw Living Armor on top.
And that's what they did yesterday. Yeah, he was legitimately unkillable.
Vici have 0 tower damage. I honestly think what you do as Vici now is you grab Leshrac. I think you have to go in a direction where you can take towers, you have magic damage against the Timber Saw, you have a hero that IO can play around that's not just this Gyro, because I don't think IO Gyro solves this game. I think you need a different core to do the job.
What about, man, they just play this, but the Storm also, there's limited disables besides ultimates on EG, but I just saw him.
They played it yesterday.
He died to the Magnus yesterday, and he got first blooded by that Magnus, and he had a tough matchup, but it does look like it could be pretty solid for Vici right now if they do want to go for that.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
that's a change of pace.
Absolutely.
I was actually yesterday when Vici played against Secret in that matchup. I was looking for them to maybe pick Batrider just because how good it is against a side laner like Timber. It's also good against Treant. Batrider is flat out good against all 4 heroes in EG's lineup. They can't pick Slark. He's banned by themselves,
and it denies a lot of Abed heroes. You're not picking TA into that. You're not picking Meepo into that because obviously Batrider might be off lane or middle, but you can't pick some of these hero Abed likes because of that.
I really thought that we'd be seeing this hero more, especially because of how much Wyvern's been coming up in Timbers. I've been suggesting it, I think, a lot of the panel segments.
Yeah, you have been.
2 days I've just been like,
and it's only Alliance.
And then they pick an Aura carrier instead of the Batrider. But yeah, it's good. It's amazing versus Wyvern, great versus Timber. This is a good pick. It works well with IO. I like it.
Batrider can easily be an Aura carrier if it's a good Batrider.
That's true.
We've seen the Vlad's Batrider.
The old times of having to go Travels, Blink, Force Staff, it's not a requirement at all. Sometimes a pipe first Batrider is great. If you get any of the neutral items that give you mana, you're set. Faded Brooch, for example, Clumsy Net for the mana regen, whatever it is, you're good to go a greedier route with your items. And I think in this game, I don't know what auras you really want to buy into this team. There's no clear solution. There's tons of pure damage from Timber. You're not going to block any of that. So Crimson Guard isn't good. No. None of them are really that good.
Not really that good. But he's good. He's good. He's good damage. Yeah, he's really good damage to provide with this team, though.
I'm happy to see this from Vici because it's straying a little bit from the plan, but in a good way. Like, agreed. You're getting something new where you identify there's an opening here, and I'm a big Yang fan. I think he's awesome to watch. I'm hoping he's playing the Batrider in this game. It looks very likely that Io and Rubik should be supports. It's the kind of hero they've kind of put Yang on these defensive heroes a lot, but I really like when he plays aggressive too. I don't think he has to say Centaur's awesome. His Batrider is great. He's played Sand King in the past and looked great on that too. So for me this is a big change up from Vici because they're giving Yang initiative in the game. Like now you get to lead the charge and take some fights in your terms and
good versus the tree. Like actually, if you even just have a gem, any sort of dust, the tree's dead. You have the vision to find the Winter Wyvern in the back. They go Viper. So they are doing definitely kind of a death volley setup here where they need to hit this kind of timing at the 25-30 minute. They do scale well as well, but I feel that's definitely what they're looking at.
This is a lot of magic damage coming in. The Viper Q plus like a Nether Toxin down with your Batrider, Sticky Napalm, and Gyro Cup. This is a ton of magic damage. We're definitely going to see a pipe picked up early on EG.
Probably Timber,
yeah. On the Timber.
Unless Timber goes middle, who knows?
How do you lane as EG? Who can you can't put any of your current heroes against Viper and be happy about it. I think both Magnus and Timber. Magnus is maybe okay, but I don't think you want this matchup. So if you do pick something else to lane against the Viper, you're forcing Magnus into a safe lane against Bat. That's not good. And Timber is not good against him either. You need to find this just wonderful pick that kind of solves all your problems.
The cheese.
Well, that's what lane versus Viper.
All right.
But you do have the Magnus versus the Batrider, though. But that is a pretty strong Brood pick, if I say so myself.
They kind of like weird. They don't really have a tie. The Brood kind of. I don't actually like it that much. I don't know. I like Vici's draft a lot more. I think they just can group up in as Viper, and it's going to be pretty damn easy for him. I don't know.
This game is about
like the Brood.
If Brood gets about things this game, it's an insane pick. But Brood is one of those heroes where 1 or 2 deaths, the game can very quickly lose control. It's just he's playing against largely slows. Brood is great against that.
That's right.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to be looking at the Brood. Let's see if this Brood has legs when we.
Thanks.
Prepare for battle.
I almost trust you.
I'm really freaking out.
This is the fifth series that Evil Geniuses and Vici Gaming have played against each other this series, with a total game score of 7-3 to the favor of Vici Gaming before today. But right now, Evil Geniuses are leading 1 game up in this best of 3, and they have just last picked a Brood Mother against Vici Gaming, Lizard.
They just last picked a Brood. Right there.
It's pretty gross, yeah.
It's pretty gross. Yesterday we did see a Brood Mother played versus Wisp and Gyro, and the Brood Mother did lose. So maybe in that case, Vici Gaming still have a shot. Well, we also saw a Magnus Winter Wyvern versus Wisp and Gyro on the other hand, and Winter Wyvern and the Magnus did really well versus this combo. We have seen a couple of crit games on this Winter Wyvern, and he has been amazing. One of the things that the panel, or we don't usually mention, is that Orchid Rush. Not only for the silence early on, but later on for the blood turn, because all of his allies are critting as well. So you can look the same way crit had a lot of impact in that last game. I think we can expect a lot from him in this one too.
Particularly effective against that gyro Whisk combination, right?
Exactly.
Like, you get a winner's curse. If the gyro doesn't solo kill that poor ball, then with an Orchid on him, he's gonna pop to
poor
the extra bit of Orchid.
You sympathize with
I
this?
sympathize with a little bit when it's it's the portal cube, makes that sad little noise.
A little bit, but if it gets an essence ring, I have no mercy.
All right, I'll agree with that. If they get an essence ring on the side of EG Gaming, then we will not sympathize with them one bit. But a skewer backwards onto Ori to start things off. An early first blood attempt by EG, and it's successful. 5 claims the kill.
Okay, so they're trying to set up the lanes a little bit differently. They're trying to put the Viper top because he can't lane versus Broodmother, but Viper is really good on 1 versus 1. If you put him in a tri-lane versus a Treant and Winter Wyvern, they will destroy you.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's going to be real good, especially, like 3-4 minutes from now when the Viper's looking like level 3, really ineffective against 3 heroes. That's going to be a bit hard for BG Gaming. We'll see how they solve that. They do have a 1v1 at the bottom lane, the Bat Rider versus the Timbersaw, one of the few heroes that can successfully beat a Timber.
I think that's a much better lane for them. I think the Bat Rider should be fine. Just has to be careful not to fly over Ramses when he's really close to the trees, so that whirling, so that first spell doesn't damage him way too much.
Yeah. Look at how many mangoes Abed brought to lane, man. He is ready to just spam out the spawn spiderlings, build up an army, and farm up some neutrals, because he won't be able to keep them in lane very often against that flat cannon. Fly is now abandoning that tri-lane we're looking at earlier, and is going to try and lend a helping hand here to Arteezy's Magnus.
They're switching everything up, putting the Timbersaw on top, and I think you need to give a good lane to Timbersaw, to Ramses. We saw what he can do with heroes that get a lot early on. He just...
Is that why when Viper died, I saw him running up the lane? So are they going to try and... Are they just going to TP swap as well?
Not this again.
Yeah,
Not this again. Can we just have normal lanes for once?
They had TP available for both their cores, but apparently they're okay with this. I mean, the Bat Rider should beat the Magnus as well, right?
Yeah, he should be fine on that lane too. Obviously you have Skewer, but it's not super effective versus Bat Rider early on. He'll still be able to catch you up if he gets a lot of sticky napalm charges.
Yeah, I like that. All that EG really needs to do was just get Ramses to level 3, right? And then he can lane against the tri-lane a lot more effectively.
Exactly, 2 levels in reactive armor and you're completely fine.
Gonna try and catch Yang here, but he actually goes on the offensive with 3 sticky napalm stacks on to fly, plus the help of PYW. Set up flames in the skewer away to the right-hand side. Yang, though, finished him off with an auto attack, and is now gonna be able to turn on to Arteezy as well. Building up with no skewer available for Arteezy. He's just gonna get run down. He does have 9 magic wand charges. I think that's part of the reason BG Gaming give up on that chase.
Exactly, you see the sticks and you just give up on it, but you can see Ori on the top lane. Maybe we'll be forced to get Nether Toxin a little bit earlier versus this lane, but even once he does that, it's so difficult. Wisp just left him, he might die.
The stacks are gone on Ramsey, so he feels like he can finish off Ori, and he does. Yang is now here with a Firefly, but a Timber Chain gets Ramses a small distance away, and Yang feels like he can't get either one of those kills.
I love the way Ramses also adapted to the game. He went for 2 points in Timber Chain, 2 points in reactive armor, enables him to get away from the Bat Rider, enables him to get on top of anyone that's in the lane, and in that last engagement it was the Viper.
Yeah, something small like having a tree being able to provide you a slow as well, allowing you to kind of chase down some of these heroes.
They're trying all the different combinations. Now there's the gyrocopter on the mid lane. He was there before, and he's the only one that's so far been at the same lane for the complete game, right? He can farm versus the Broodmother right now. He has that flat cannon to work with. However, very soon he will be pressured super hard by the Broodmother.
Oh, PYW. that was a bit of a monster move. Kills both Crit and Arteezy's Courier on the way out to deliver regen.
He only gets 70 gold total, right? But it's still really good. You prevent them from having that passive GPM as well. And he can perhaps slow down this Broodmother around the mid lane. I don't know if they can take Abed down. He has a lot of spiders here.
It's always very dangerous. I think you can fight into the flat cannon shots going out, trying to kill some of those spiders. It's a pretty healthy amount. Nice. Eurus, 68 and 10. What a god. Of course, most of those being spiders.
He has 70 CS, minutes 5, but most of those are 3 and 9 gold, so you aren't really getting a whole lot out of it. Still, you are slowing down the Broodmother. Maybe 3 shouldn't be rotating around that mid lane. When you play the Broodmother right now, just give her the space. Let her farm, let her get those first 2 items, and after that you can make these rotations.
Crit playing behind them right now with 2 levels of the Splinter Blast. Is setting up on Ori, but it is into a Weiss. It's going to be hard to bring Ori down, but they do manage to skewer to break that tether, and Ori is so slowed. He can only play into the corner of the map here and try and get some damage out. PYW, another Splinter Blast landing on him, slowing him as well. DY pulled back by the Shockwave, enough for Fly to be able to bonk him twice to get the double kill.
Easy double kill for Fly. His punches are really strong right now. The skewer from Arteezy was also really well done. You have to get the Viper away from the Wisp. Panel talked about these heroes that are able to play with Wisp. Viper isn't like the first hero that comes to your mind, but is a hero that's fairly tanky and he can bait you. If he baits you and the Wisp heals him, he gets those extra stacks. And
Eurus, you gotta be careful using those flat cannon shots when you don't show the main host of the spiders. Once it's down, Abed, as you can see, just can challenge him immediately and is going to continue to do so. Now the ultimate on cooldown, the medallion, it just means the Euro's going to take so much damage from these spiders. He's going to be run down and finished off. Evade bolt going up, and now PYW is going to be in trouble as well.
Oh no.
He tries to go for the TP, but it's going to be a tough one. He does manage to make it out.
Yeah, they're just crumbling on this mid lane. They did put the Gyro because he does the best job versus the Broodmother. Out of all of their heroes, they got brooded. It's as simple as that. But even the Gyrocopter doesn't do great once those items are there. You could see he baited out the ulti from the Gyro, and then he caught him with a couple of extra webs. With that medallion, he can definitely take down Eurus. And you can't itemize. There's no item that can help you right now. We don't have the poor man's shields that we had before. We don't even have stout shields.
VG Gaming, this problem is going to become more and more apparent, especially if they lose their Gyrocopter again due to another initiation. Crit starts off with the slows. Eurus tries to fight back with his ultimate, but with the helping hand of Ramses cutting across, that was just too much for VG Gaming.
Even though he did die twice, if you look at the net worth, he's still second. He's still above Brood by quite, like, what 300 gold? So yeah, he's still in a pretty good spot, considering Broodmother is also farming the jungle, farming the lane, and farming the Gyrocopter.
Gonna put Arteezy up at the top lane now as Ramses makes his way across the map.
I think one thing that VG Gaming did do really well in this draft is address the Timber Saw. I think they have multiple ways of dealing with Ramses. Those games in which EG just dominated with Timber, the enemy team usually did not have anything specific against him. Here you might have the Vessel, you have the Batrider, you have the Nether Toxin too.
So you think your Ramsey's going to have to play a little bit a different style compared to last time?
I think he'll still play the same style, but it won't be as easy. You can see one hero is able to zone him out. And later on with the Nether Toxin, if he doesn't have those stacks of reactive armor, he can be in danger too.
Yang farming up some of those neutrals. A Diffusal Blade soon for Abed, it looks like.
There are different...
RP. We've seen this a lot from these carry Magnuses, just willing to use the RP on a simple support as soon as possible, just for the extra bit of farm.
That's completely fine. Early on, you aren't really hoping for some grand RP on multiple heroes. I think it's perfectly fine to kill their Rubik that way.
mango tree placed out to give them a bit of high ground vision, maybe a little bit of warning about these ganks that have been trending towards the mid lane.
A really good spot to put that mango tree as well, as you have the Wisp gyro. Usually they want to farm this area of the map, and it will give them the necessary vision so they don't get ganked. However, I don't feel like EG is really going to gank a lot this game. Look at them, they will just increasingly get stronger and stronger. That's the game plan. You have the Broodmother, you have the Timbersaw Treant. You don't have these extra great pick-off heroes, specialists. But eventually you just become too big to deal with.
What VG Gaming are going to have to do here especially is make sure they can keep this Treant Protector from pushing in this tower. We've seen EG stall out games really effectively with this Treant Protector.
And the Timber, right?
And
put the Timber in front, the Treant is behind, healing either the Timber or the tower, whichever is being in problems. Arteezy, what's he going for? Bracer, probably into that Echo Sabers, the normal standard build that gives you 3000 HP minute 13. It's ridiculous. Magnus, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of him in the last couple of days, but he's still picked and banned quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the safe lane Magnus. This Treant Protector, though. There's so many heroes from VG Gaming here, but they weren't able to commit to that tower push.
Yep, they just get repelled by the two big boys, Tree and the Timber. They're happy to go back and farm. I think they have to, because in the back of their head, they do understand that this Broodmother is getting a lot. And if you're trying to take down towers versus Tree, it most likely won't work, so it's much better to do this. Just go back, farm, get your own items. Don't try to pressure them too much. These two teams are playing a very similar game again strategically, just like in that first match. They match up very well. And that's why we did see VG Gaming before win versus them, and now they're one game down.
Treant Protector just taking that outpost to make this bottom lane even more secure. You could see all the safe lane vision they like to place this well. Whenever they have a Treant Protector, being able to read these movements. Set up for them.
Fly is really good at doing that. If he's playing some different style of a position 5, he sometimes goes and feeds just to give info or ward.
That is a winner's curse on top of Lasso. Arteezy still has the RP as well as the Skewer is going to try and get away. The Flame Break actually bumps him a little bit. Stalling up that Skewer. He tries to throw the RP out now, but he just knows he's certainly dead. Ramses, meanwhile, in the mid lane is able to kill Ori, but Crit's going to be chased down here by Eurus as they cancel the relocate back.
Well, this is happening on the top lane. At the same time, the Broodmother and Ramses collapse on top of that Viper. They take him down and they take down the tier 1. So perhaps this is a little bit better for EG strategically, but getting those 2 kills on the top lane, the Magnus and the Winter Wyvern, was also really good for VG Gaming.
You think that it's a little bit better for EG because, like, Broodmother, the impact he has when you hit
obviously
towers?
Broodmother and taking this control. When you take down the mid tier 1 as a Broodmother team, you gain access to both sides of their jungle, and then you can make more aggressive movements. I don't think they're necessarily going to relocate, replace the Broodmother and make her go into the dire jungle right now.
Right.
They won't replace their strategy in that way, but soon enough, they will think about it, definitely. On the top lane as well, the reason why Magnus died there is because of the Rubik TPing. He couldn't RP the Batrider. If he RPs, then the RP is stolen, he still dies.
Arteezy is going to be able to take tower himself. VG Gaming are trying to do the same at bottom, but first they have to get this Treant Protector the hell out of the lane. Batrider, usually a pretty good hero for finding him, but couldn't catch up there.
They have the curse, but he's really
could be caught. The Timber Chain through. They do have the Chakra to be able to slow down Yang just enough. The Splinter Blast comes through. Ramses claims a kill. Eurus and PYW are still in the area, but it feels like they just cannot fight.
He tried to go in with the gyrocopter to stop them from killing the bat with that rocket. He thought that Winter Wyvern is going to use that curse, but Ramses was completely fine alone. He's just waving at him. This is literally, he's mocking every single team he's playing against. And it's so strategical. The way he's positioning, I told you before, it's been so on point. We talked off the game as well about this.
Yeah, I think that it's funny hearing No-Tail in the green room watching the games yesterday. that he's like, tip him. Like, why won't you use that? If it's an option, why won't you try and get that little bit of an edge? And Ramses really is the only one who really does it on EG. I guess Abed likes to spam the hero lines.
Yeah,
It's a trap. But I feel like it's a lot of time it's for his own sake when he's having a rough game. Ramsey, he got bounced backward by the flame break into the lasso. Great hit by Yang. Oh, the Winter's Curse. That's not enough to save Ramsey. So Eurus is able to get that kill. Now the missile actually shifts over onto the Winter Wyvern. They have to relocate onto the other side of the cliff. And so Crit is certainly going to be caught here. But right to the spiders. So Yang, he does manage to get that kill on Crit for sure. But poor PYW got eaten alive.
Yep, sadly for PYW, he was caught in the Brood's webs, and he just dies easily there, but they do take down the Timbersaw and the Wyvern. I think that's much more important for VG Gaming. Stopping Ramses from mocking them the way he did before. They were like, come here, you little shit.
Yeah, I mean, talk about being a little shit. Fly, he's been so obnoxious in this bottom lane. He's going to try and go for a TP out, but the missile's going to be there. Good bounce by Yang into the missile, just to make sure it does land before the TP completes. They've killed the Dream Protector. Let's take that damn tower.
And the Timbersaw is that. So they broke them, but they need to continue doing this. You need to set the tempo of the game, and you need to not allow the Timbersaw and the Treant to gain that defensive posture again, because if that happens, you're going to find yourself just farming and being delayed once again. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's super bad for them. You have the Wisp Gyro after all.
Yeah, they're both looking towards a heavy mid-game timing. We've got Abed, RTZ, and Eurus all building into BKBs at this point. We haven't actually checked in on Viper anytime lately. What's he got? That's Dragonlance.
He's able to keep his distance with this a little bit, beefs him up a little bit too. Essence Ring. Essence Ring Wisp.
Yep, they got it. All right, well, no sympathy points to HE Gaming if you lose here. You got the OP item on the Wisp. Essence Ring plus mech, that's approximately 1 billion health for the Gyrocopter.
1 billion health and 1 billion range of the Rubik too. He got the Keen Optic and he built the Aetherlands. They got really good neutral items in the second match.
Yeah, they certainly did. The extra 45 damage for the IO. He's feeling himself on that, I guess. We have the talent where you attack every single time with the Grove Bow. That's a good
Bow as well for Viper or the Gyrocopter. Yeah. It's pretty good on both of them. If they give it to Gyro, obviously, it's decent on both.
Yeah. Pipe complete for Ramses. That'll help deal with a lot of that magic damage.
He's going for some right-click damage mitigation as well, and yeah.
RTZ switched it up into the Blink Dagger rather than straight to the BKB he queued up. So it looks like he wants to try and catch VG Gaming now. But VG Gaming, they just hit a spike that they think is pretty good themselves.
RTZ just understands his place right now in this team, in this game. He needs to be the one that gets this Blink Dagger and gets these initiations, and then the Broodmother comes from sidelines with that BKB and deals with the necessary damage that is.
I mean, they can pretty much, if he manages to do the right RP, catching the IO with the Gyrocopter, if Ramses is nearby, they're pretty much going to one-shot that IO.
As long as you don't let him use the Essence Ring and the mech.
You're going to need a quick Whirling Death, Chakram, Timber Chain through, bursting down that IO, because if you don't do it during that RP timing, then the whole team fight can turn against you.
Abed could be in problems here. This is a really good rotation at the right time. You have the BKB on Gyro. Yang, all he has to do is lasso the Broodmother, and you can take a really good fight. They aren't really willing. He's doing a really good thing here with the spiders. He sends them in. Basically, at this level, you understand what they're trying to do and what their timings are, and you're trying to play around it. He sends the spiderlings because he senses that they are smoked up.
Sends it around that area that they would be trying to wrap through with a smoke ink into that mid lane. They caught the Broodmother there. They would wrap into mid, take that tower, and all of a sudden VG Gaming would have a wealthy amount of map control.
I think VG Gaming, they're playing a much better mid game than they did in that last match.
Feels a lot more controlled for sure. Still able to keep their farm going. They're going to spot Yang. Is going to be able to jump forward on a fly. RTZ still looking for telekinesis up, and they're going to make sure to take that blink dagger off a cooldown, grab the free kill on the fly, and back up to their high ground. I like that a lot from Vici.
The way they did it as well, they did not allow Crit to move into the right position to counterplay that with the curse. Instead, they just move him away from the gyrocopter, away from the teammates as well, as he's on a cliff. So really well played by Yang. Still though, it's Fly.
Yeah. I think TY is going to have a really hard game, but so far, I'm loving his positioning. He's maxing up that tether range most of the time whenever he thinks they're a little bit close. Relocate up to the top lane. They have actually caught Crit here. Crit waiting to turn around with the Wizard's Curse. He has sticky napalm on him. It's going to be a little hard, so instead he just dies. Yang dropping a bit low.
You just praise EY, and did you see that reload? It was miles away from Crit.
Yeah.
Usually when you catch someone, you hold that thought. RTZ?
RTZ thinking about it.
They have a ward here. This shouldn't be a play.
But yeah, if he relocates on top of the Winter Wyvern,
which is what you usually do.
Yeah. Aghanim Scepter for Eurus is the next item with the Maelstrom build. Really great answer to the Broodmother. Later on, the Satanic is good answer to that RP initiation as well. PYW puts himself on the high ground there with the Arctic Burn and does manage to slow down the Screen Protector enough to be able to grab him, pulls him over to Ori, and Ori will help him get the kill.
Yeah, that Arctic Burn stolen earlier really helps him there, makes him able to catch on to fly over the cliffs. They didn't have reload, but Ori was quick enough to respond to it.
So in your opinion, which team should be trying to make the moves right now? Because it feels like VG Gaming have been okay with farming.
But they've been the ones making moves too. So far, it's them. Because they did not have BKB on the Broodmother. Now that they do have it, you see the smoke up instantly from EG.
Alright, the power spike is there. And they do have these spiders revealing. Okay, not enough to take down that ward, but they know Yang's around. Okay. Smoke's gonna break. Alright, Tick Burn, not going to land. Does manage to blink away. VG Gaming full retreat to their high ground, but Arteezy still pursuing. He is quite far away from the rest of his team, so he decides not to pursue any farther, but
I think Imp's Claw is really good on with that Echo Saber, but it still doesn't make him strong enough to take down Wisp and Gyro. There is no way. He needs more. He needs more assistance.
His farm's slowing down a little bit just because he's looking for these fights so often, but isn't actually connecting anyone.
I think it's something that EG have been doing for a few days now. They just sack Arteezy completely. He's the one that's always up front, always trying to make moves. You could see it yesterday in that Void game as well. He would, the moment he had Chrono, he rotates on the enemy safe lane, tries to use it.
Still though, when Arteezy is able to focus on farming, Magnus is matched by very few carries in the game, the speed at which he's able to farm neutrals, and he is closing in on that BKB. So is Eurus on the Aghanim Scepter. Eurus, top of the net worth chart right now.
I think maybe the BKB is a bigger power spike in this game, especially for EG. You will have BKB Brood, BKB Magnus, both empowered, hitting you. It should be good timing for them, but I expected a little bit more from this Brood early on, because he did stomp that lane quite heavily. I take that back, Gyro did farm a lot, but they did kill him quite a few times, and they took that tier 1 quite early on. I expected maybe for them to have some more offensive posture, aggressive, but they didn't really go into the dire jungle at all. It's been mostly Vici Gaming making moves.
I agree with you. It feels like Abed is a lot more focused on hitting his later game timings, where he turns into that right-click machine. Maybe with the Aghanim Scepter, he'll try and do that a little bit more aggressively. He is closing in on that.
I honestly don't think that scales too well versus the Gyrocopter. I think he's the stronger one overall. I think maybe they got too used to this role of Abed just farming and waiting his timings. Maybe he should have been a bit more active on the Broodmother. But versus Yang's Batrider, it's really difficult to do that. They can always fly over the trees, find you, lasso you, and finish you off.
Talking about active timings here, Fly. He's going to try and get a bit more active. We've seen him just doesn't really like the Meteor Hammer build that we've seen from some of the 4-position Treant Protectors. He likes the Aura items, or in this case, a nice initiation with the Blink.
He went for the Blink a couple of games before on Treant as well. He really likes that. The way he breaks up the fights is really good too.
Just going to wait for a BKB to be used, like on that Gyrocopter. See if he can counter it with his ultimate. Jump forward, crit is going to find DY here. A fresh tether is up, and he's going to be able to latch himself onto the Rubik in the back line. Arteezy thought he was getting a little bit close there, but got hit by a few orbs there from the Weiss. Is unable to blink forward. Eurus going to be challenged. Pushed away. Neither team blowing a big cooldown here. But now, jump forward from Fly is going to be able to get the Overgrowth to lead things off. Getting 2 heroes, but at the same time, the stolen Overgrowth. And now, Alasso onto Magnus, who's going to be pulled over to the side. Skewer over. He's going to try and target DY immediately with the help of the Bird Brother. RP onto 2, but Ori's not quite in it. He's trying to help get the damage onto Magnus. He needs a little bit more on top of the Nether Toxin. Eurus has survived through it all as well. Magnus, he still falls, and now it's up to Abed to try and finish off Eurus instead, but he can't do it. He's going to try and TP away. A disaster for Evil Geniuses as they thought they could get the Gyrocopter. They thought they could focus him down, but no such luck.
Yeah, you go into the Wisp, Gyro Wisp with Essence Ring and back. You try to take him down. You do manage to do so, but he buybacks instantly, rejoins the fight, and Magnus just falls. Yang, that lasso wasn't necessarily that great. He catches the Magnus, but it only puts him in an even better position to use that RP. But it worked out really well for Richie Gaming. You could see that Crit had to use his Winter's Curse also really defensively on the bottom side. I like this play from Fly, but overall, all this teamfight gave them was an Aegis on the enemy side.
Yeah, you could see he went from about 25% HP to full up as the IO gave him all those heals.
On the bottom side as well, you can see the curse, but it didn't help. Wisp, he also buybacks, relocates in, heals up Eurus. It's good for Abed that they didn't have any more disables to kill him off too.
While we were watching that, VG Gaming did manage to take the Roshan PYW, telekinesis on the Magnus with the Chakram that he stole as well. Arteezy has already taken a lot of damage here and is going to be skewered backwards by PYW. Beautiful play into a lasso as well, just to ensure the kill. Back-to-back deaths for our tour.
And PYW, if he's not playing these tanky ETs, tinies, he plays a Rubik and he plays a mean one. That skewer wasn't only good because of repositioning, it was also good because he didn't have time to react to the missile, to the rocket. So he got stunned. Really, really well played.
Couldn't get off his BKB, and now VG Gaming gets up by 6K with an Aegis in hand. Plenty of items flowing in. They've got the Titan Sliver, found for the Gyrocopter. He almost has a Butterfly.
You're playing versus anyone, you let Wisp go through, you lose to Wisp, you ban the Wisp next game.
It's looking like Evil Geniuses thought they had the answer to this pesky support, but
they're still
they willingly gave them the Gyrocopter as well. Lizard, you pointed that out to me in the draft. They're saying, we've got counters, but EG.
They have the Wyvern and the Magnus, but VG Gaming, they're not allowing them to use these big ultis properly. One of the main reasons is PYW with his Rubik. He's always ready and waiting to snatch that away from you. So you're not really as free at using these ults. Aghanim's has been completed by Abed though, so that might allow them to rotate across the map a little bit faster. I think if you're EG, you should...
Oh, great. Gonna be grabbed here. Winter's Curse is up. That's why DY separates himself from Eurus, just in case.
One of the bad things about going for this early Orchid into Bloodthorn on Wyvern is the fact that if the game doesn't go great for you, you never finish it and you're not really useful.
Or a repair kit that'll help stall things a bit, especially with the living armor of the tree.
I think maybe they should try and make some rotations on the Wisp and the Gyro somehow. But right now, the name of the game is probably delayed until Aegis has been reclaimed. Crimson Guard. Remember the panel they talked about Batrider, he doesn't necessarily have to be this Boots of Travel Blink 4 staff any longer. Well, in this game he did it, but he also is going for some utility. He does have that Crimson queued up, which will help them quite a lot versus the Broodmother. Recently Broodmother was built around the Spiderlings later on. You take the talent for spiders.
Rolling into the whirling death, and they just wipe out 3 of them. Eurus is going to come back on his second life, and he's PKB, but can he actually get out? He's going to be overthrown, locked in place, and too much physical damage.
Well, they found them. They found them. That's what they needed to do. They needed to find Wisp and Gyro, and damn, this game just switched up super fast.
Just as it was looking a little grim for EG, just as it seemed like execution-wise they couldn't find the openings on VG Gaming, Artur, he sees VG Gaming slip up just a little bit, the support
no smoke, no invis, nothing. He was in full, I mean, it's nighttime, so they didn't have vision on him, and he had a really good ward there. Position 5 rock.
And now a Broodmother is free to push into a tier 3 tower. No bump back on the gyrocopter here. Thankfully, the Crimson Guard was finished up by Yang at the perfect time, which is Curse immediately as lasso. He's going to be held in place here and trying to force staff him, and he does manage to get back. Ramses, he pulled in a little bit. He's still got Pipe. He's still got Timber Chain. He was just curse. But he will have another Timber Chain, and I don't think they have another Interrupt. As the Flame Break's still on cooldown. Ramses slowed down to a crawl here, but Timber Chain after Timber Chain should get him away. They have to relocate forward, but they thought he was actually going to go right. Ramses moving to the left side of the screen instead puts himself out of distance to the gyrocopter.
So they just wasted one more reload on top of everything that happened before. However, they didn't lose the tier 3, so that's really significant for them. They won't have that Brood constantly sending Spiderlings and just taking it down without putting in any effort.
Yeah, that probably would have been a tier 3 down without that Crimson Guard, right? Yeah. Such a clutch timing there from Yang.
Also good pickup from the Rubik to steal that curse.
Yeah.
Prevented EG from stacking up and taking down the tower.
Evan's Halberd complete for the Timber Saw. Up against the Viper and Gyro, and the healing amplification is so good when you've got the full-out reactive armor stacks. Finally, we have our Orchid complete as well. So he was able to get that big power spike. We'll see how he uses it in these fights, because Yang, he certainly has seemed to found a support that he likes to pick on. Right, he blinks forward, kind of messes with the Winter Wyvern. He's by himself, so you don't feel good about cursing him.
Wyvern is possibly the best reactionary hero on the side of EG besides the Treant. So if you manage to catch him like he did.
There he is, grabs the Winter Wyvern, pulls him into Eurus. Eurus with all that magic damage quickly bursts him down. But what about Arteezy? What about Fly? Looks like they both are fast enough to stay ahead of the gyrocopter.
Even though there is a telescope on crit, which allows him to just stand back and use his spells from distance, they can't catch him. He doesn't have any mobility items, no blinks, glimmers to save him, so that's one of the downsides also of this Orchid Rush. But Yang has been fantastic when it comes to getting on top of him and picking him off before the fight even starts.
Not a right-click build coming out from our Broodmother, even after the Aghanim Scepter. A Scythe is his next choice. He's going all in on the spider damage. Yeah, no right-click of his own.
Yeah, he's going for the spider damage. I think that's why this Crimson on Batrider, we mentioned it before, that's why it's so significant. It's an amazing pickup by Yang. You don't really see it on Bat a lot. And after that last RP, can you really blame him for not wanting damage? They have the damage.
I would love to see how fast he was able to just take that tier 3 in a replay if we could, because that is one of the things so dangerous about a Broodmother, is that even if you think you're winning fights and stuff, you have to be aware of that rat.
Once you get the talent on the spiders, it's just Few seconds. They're hitting so hard. I feel bad for PY. Actually, I don't. He has a ghost. He's fine. He should be fine. Telescope. You look at these items. He had Keen Optic first. Now he got the telescope as well. I mean, they're getting really, really good neutrals. Aetherlens telescope. Rubik, it's the best stuff that you can get.
Yeah, with a Blink Dagger and still that stolen Winter Wyvern's Curse. This is why VG Gaming want to go for a push out here. They're going to try and keep their shrine alive because Roshan is going to be a bit of a focal point here.
Almost dead though. Like we mentioned earlier, the moment you take down the tier 3, Ramses.
Gonna happen eventually here, but they do manage to get the initiation on Ramses. Ramses, no save from his teammates just yet, but maybe rather tanky, especially with that Nether Shell. There's gonna be a cold embrace, and they have the Winter's Curse on the Broodmother. They just wanted to use it before it faded away.
BYW, I think he was hoping on Spiderlings. He was hoping on the Spiderling damage, but he didn't have any around him, luckily for him. Because those Spiderlings destroy the Broodmother. Extra attack speed and the talent, you would just die.
There's plenty of reasons to keep the Spiderlings away from himself against that flat cannon. That's one more good reason to do so. Abed's micro is going to have to be really on point this game.
As long as he has Curse on Rubik, we shouldn't see that happen way too often though. Crit isn't really the kind of a player that gives away good spells.
Scythe is about to be complete for the Broodmother. Meanwhile, don't really have the biggest power spikes. Eurus just completing Butterfly. Satanic's going to be up next for him, so he just kind of planted himself on that front line. EG.
There you go. Scythe is completed. Instant smoke.
Ramses just kind of showing himself on the front lines, and the rest of the team is going to try and find an entrance into this high ground. They're going to be able to, with the Spiderling, spot the two of them together. Can he actually bring down the hour time? They do, because they were down into low ground as well. Euro's going to be stuck. Bank PB activated. They do the IO coming back in. Tethers up. Look at that. Eurus back to full. The overgrowth going out. Stolen by the Rubik is going to be able to keep these heroes in place, but a Winter's Curse intercepts. He does manage to get off the Ghost Scepter, though, so he's not taking too much damage. Relocates him out of there, but Yang, he found his initiation onto the Broodmother. Looks like he's able to do enough damage. Timber chaining on through everybody, but the Golden Brace on Arteezy has left him stuck, and Yang finds himself right in front of the charging Rhinoceros and brings him down. EG losing 3. EG Gaming just a buyback for them.
What a team fight, man. EG looked so great for the way they set that up. The fact that they set the Spiderlings in to give them vision so that they can RP properly, and they were sending the spiders all the time there. So VG, they got caught off guard there with the RP. They still managed to kill the Wind though, but at what cost? They suffer heavily. And what's even worse for them, Roshan is up.
That is twice now that Evil Geniuses have lost a significant team fight off of DY having a buyback here. First was at that mid-tier 2, and here on the river you can see Eurus. Once he pops at BKB, the full heal comes out from DY.
That looks so great. They use their spells really well, but it's just Wisp with Essence Ring. And this wasn't really the greatest because Gyro wasn't attacking him.
Yeah, I think he got off the Ghost Scepter in time on the IO.
Very unfortunate for EG, but it's Wisp right now. It's the way this hero works, and they counted on it. They counted on that buyback from the Wisp, and now not only does he have the Essence Ring and the mech, he also has a cheese to work with.
You saw Ori put out some serious damage, even though they brought Eurus out of that fight with a relocate. Ori is a significant factor as well. He ripped through that Broodmother and did a lot of damage to the Timber Saw as well.
In that situation, I thought, all right, this might not go too poorly for EG because he relocated the Gyro out. I thought maybe that could have been a wrong decision, but it obviously wasn't because Ori is a beast of his own kind.
Stolen overgrowth as well from PYW, significant factor. And now VG Gaming up by 11K, having Aegis and Cheese. I'm presuming the Cheese is on the DYIO. Sure enough, there it is.
If you're EG right now, you must be feeling so demoralized after the heals from Wisp. Even after you take him down, he still just changes the concept of this game completely.
I like to give the Titan Sliver to DY for the status resistance, you know, so if he can wake up a little bit faster off the RP and activate his cheese before he gogoes down, that'll be a huge turnaround. Arteezy
They have the repair kit, and they do have the tree and protector, so taking down this tier 3 will be significantly harder than before.
And that's probably why RTZ isn't around, right? He's saying, like, team, you just hold for a while.
They're not
going to try, but VG Gaming, they're going to come in here, almost finishing out the tier 3, and they do. Thanks in part to that double damage. EG don't want to fight into that DD, so they're trying to assault the mid lane, force VG Gaming back. The melee racks die here. The spiders, the flame break backwards. A little bit more damage to the spiders, but it's not going to happen. It's fresh round. Fresh round. The people slowing them down, though, and they can't actually get it. The melee racks will have the chance to repair.
Yeah, PYW also has Splinter Blast, one of the best things to have at the moment versus the Broodmother, and the Fade Bolt is really, really good versus Broodmother, so...
Now they've got Shivos and the Batrider, so more AoE damage.
Maybe if he went for the range axes, if he didn't greed out, he'd definitely get them.
Yeah.
But he went for the melee and
sometimes greed does not pay. Abed.
This item might be really good for them. They're going for the nullifier. So with that nullifier, you will be able to just stop Wisp from using any of his items. Yes, it's ring the mech, but you still need to find him. You need to get on top of him.
Are there any Lotus Orbs here on the side of VG Gaming? Is there anything that they can do to help against that?
They don't have Lotus Orbs, no. It's only on Ramsey so far in this game, I believe.
Yeah, so that would be just a clean way. You get the right RP, 100%. Even if DY survives through the RP, if he can't activate his items, they'll die pretty fast. Eurus, though. That is a bigger problem. Aeon Disc for DY soon.
That's really significant, too. You can see that EG, maybe they're setting up a fight around this top outpost. They do have decent vision here, but let's see if they actually... Nah, Ramses, he has travels. So he can TP back in.
So, Lizard, what can EG do a little bit better in these team fights? You can't just ask RTZ to get 3-4-man RPs all the time.
You need to. You need to ask him to do that.
It's entirely on him?
It's definitely not entirely on him. You need him to RP the Wisp and the Gyro because they're always stuck together.
Right.
If that happens, you need to follow up with the Broodmother and nullify the Wisp.
Okay.
I don't see any other way that they kill him. There is also Winter's Curse possible. So maybe the Bloodthorn later on from Winter Wyvern.
Yeah.
If you manage to Winter's Curse the Wisp and Bloodthorn him, perhaps the Gyro will be like enough to take him down.
Right.
But the game plan is so much easier for VG Gaming. Put Gyro up front. Viper also has an amazing range right now and just hit from distance, timeless relic on Rubik. He's getting the best neutral items possible for this hero.
So is telekinesis going to last a little bit longer? Any spells that he steals that slows or stun lasting longer as well? Meanwhile, Illusionist Cape probably a little disappointing to RTZ. But he's going to try and make the best use of that illusion.
Maybe you can bait out something, perhaps. That's literally the best thing that you get from it. Maybe you can bait out Yang. Probably not going to happen. He won't just use that lasso, but there you go.
They're a little bit separated right now. They're going to try and go into Eurus, pull him back with a shockwave. Meanwhile, Ramsey's trying to identify D-Way. The Aeon Disc has gone out and the Aegis has expired. They have the sight onto Eurus. Winter's Curse landing onto DY. They're going to try and focus him down. Surrounding him real quickly. Tethers over to the side. He still has that cheese as well as the Essence Ring. They're just not doing enough damage fast enough. They're trying to skewer and break it once again. He tries to go off the RP. BKB activated instead. Holding on to that RP. DY is still alive through all of this one. Meanwhile, Ori's doing the damage. Finally, he dies. But for Eurus, he's still quite healthy. He's turning into the damage onto the Magnus. Rams are gonna fall as well. Evil geniuses are just getting wiped in the face of two heroes.
There's the 3 buyback. He can perhaps heal the towers, but you don't have anyone else. Wisp, he is still dead, so they don't have the Wisp. Broodmother could buy back together with the Timber Saw, but it's gonna be a really, really difficult defense for EG.
It certainly is. This repair kit is gonna have to put in overtime. Ramsey's gonna buy back. We'll see whether or not Abed holds on to his.
He wants to save gold for that nullifier. He understands that it's their win condition, but he's gonna have to buy back or they lose perhaps even all their sights here.
What a godly fight for DY.
What a godly Wisp, man. What are you talking about? They were trying to kill that Wisp for 30 seconds at least, and they couldn't. In the end, he does fall, but Broodmother dies at the same time.
I mean, they just completely run out of damage by the time they finally bring down DY. Nether Toxin.
Silences, that's huge too. The talents on Viper are one of the best, probably the things that he can go for. This silence is going to be real. really important. Timbersaw doesn't really have any ways of dealing with it too. He can't reposition himself.
That's certainly going to be a pain in the ass. Evil Geniuses are going to be left with one lane of barracks still standing as VG Gaming retreat. They've got Roshan coming up soon, 2 lanes of barracks ahead, 26,000 net worth lead in this best of 3.
I respect this from EG. I respect the call not to buy back and try to brawl it out for one side. Being 2 sides down is strategically really bad for you. It makes the game much harder because you don't have ways of... You always have ways pushing in, which gives the enemy team a lot of info, and it's much harder for RTZ to just rotate and get some sick RPs because he's in vision most of the time.
Right.
However, I think it's important that you get Nullifier on the Broodmother, and maybe that can help you.
VG Gaming has done an amazing job in spacing for these team fights. Never really out of position for big movement, but the Shadow Blade on a crit may find a better opportunity. Looks like Yang used the last illusion his cape, and this may be an EG. Ramsey's getting himself a little bit stuck, but that's a double damage yours. I don't know if EG wants to fight into that.
So they did manage to bait that lasso out, but they don't have any follow-up. They can't make anything work afterwards. That double damage
on the ground, gonna be picked up by Yang.
So they have to. All right.
Ramsey's still positioning himself out here. The Spiders quickly wiped out. Ramsey's gonna be forced away here. Lotus Orb activated. Crit getting a little bit close. He does have the Shadow Blade, but he won't get the chance to use it. Telekinesis catches him. Crit way out of position. Now Ramsey's going to be left alone. Arteezy to the rescue, but he can't do a damn thing. He'll one-man RP. That's not going to do shit. Evil Geniuses, they know they are completely outplayed in this game.
You don't ban the Wisp, you lose the Wisp. We've seen it happen so many times in a row, and it happens once again. It happens once.
Evil Geniuses perhaps thinking with that game 1, the nice control that they had, that they could give VG Gaming a little something. They thought maybe we can show that we can beat IO Gyro as a combination. They really gave it up in the second phase, but too many teams have fallen to that same hubris, and EG will fall to this game 2.
I think they played exceptionally well on the both sides. Maybe Broodmother could have been a little bit more active, but VG Gaming, you saw them. You saw Yang and